do you think?
I think Melissa Nelson's trying to deflect from her grand jury ethical issues. The one in Flagler County is going to consume her, where a sitting circuit judge has said that she ran a tainted grand jury. And this woman should not be state attorney, so they're going to do everything they can to be negative on me. There is a legal and logical explanation for every bit of that, and it's also ironic that Melissa Nelson, who accepted $58,000 worth of raises over her 12 years, including a $7,000 raise I gave her in 2009, would say a word about taxpayer money.
Now, this is coming from First Coast
It's
Values.
coming from Melissa Nelson and the same people who were in the room when they threatened one of the candidates in this race. So that's the kind of campaign she's running. It's what we expected. And she should be ashamed of herself. She has the same retirement system that a lot of these people do. Her father had the same retirement system. And one of the reasons we corrected my retirement, it's a retirement, it's not a pension, it's not a check that goes into a fund and then I walk out the door with it, is we corrected the eligible assistant state attorneys from 1.6 to 2 over a 13-year period. At that time, her father was making 3% as a state law enforcement officer. So we only got corrected to 2%, and we were thrilled with that. We were so grateful for it.
Is there anything in here that is not accurate, that is not factual? On the, it had your net value over $1 million. That is correct.
It's correct. I'm 61 years old. I've been working for 37 years. And a lot of that is the value of my home, which I'm proud to say I own and is mortgage free, and the contents of my home, which I've both inherited and collected over the years. And then the saving that I do, I save $2,000 a month and have the entire time I've been elected. So that's part of it that's shown on my very detailed and color-coded financial disclosure.
And
Did you see the financial disclosure?
I haven't yet.
It's very forthcoming. It tells you everything. And one thing that it speaks to that I hope that taxpayers love is I'm virtually debt-free. I have one car payment that I make on a car I share with my sister so she can get my niece around safely. And I'm very proud that I manage my money so well and have managed the state attorney's budget so well that I'm able to say that that's my net worth.
And that's on the net, and then they talk about the pay raises in there, that the bonus, well, they didn't call them bonuses.
Well, they're not bonuses.
Right,
Well, I've given raises out, except to everyone except me, of course. I've given raises out the entire 8 years, and like I said, Miss Nelson took a $7,000 one in July of 2009 and never said a word about it. And then she left the office days before the Flagler debacle that she created was about to come out. So otherwise, she probably would have still been there collecting that. And then also, if she's going to worry about the taxpayers' money, she might want to answer to what's been leveled against her regarding those doctors that she defended who never repaid the billions of dollars that they stole directly from the taxpayers on that medical scheme.
What case is that? I'm trying to think.
When she was in private practice, she defended doctors who apparently stole billions of dollars and overcharged for certain medical items. And even though the total restitution would have been in the hundreds of millions, she negotiated and worked hard for them, and the taxpayers never saw a penny of that again. So it's the hypocrisy that we're seeing from Melissa Nelson, and I'm going to continue to tell the truth to the taxpayers, to the voters, to the constituents, and hope that they bother to see the truth.
They alluded to this, that those pay raises that went to the staff were for those that supported you, but they went to everybody.
Well, I've been giving pay raises to eligible persons since 2009. We've done it almost every year, and it's a matter of record. But no, a lot of the people who supported me didn't get pay raises, and then a lot of the people that got pay raises didn't support me. So again, this is an overblown exaggeration from a woman who's running from severe ethical issues with regard to 2 different grand juries now.
And I just want to make, so First Coast Values is Melissa Nelson in your...
And it has approximately 5 contributors who have given her more than $50,000 apiece. to
I'm checking on that today,
just
but
this kind of thing.
And because that was my next step, but since you were available, I wanted to get you why I could
Yes,
on this.
absolutely.
Your ads today, nothing like this at all, or is it?
Oh, my ad today is about my experience in the courtroom and about how tough I am on violent criminals. And, you know, Jim, the raises that were given is what's allowed us to bring this circuit into the top 5 when Shorstein had it down in the 19th position of the 20 circuits. Retaining good employees and keeping valuable prosecutors is why we're leading the state in sending violent criminals to prison, because we have to compete with the private sector. I'll get you the numbers. I make the highest salary. It's set by statute. I've only gotten one raise in 8 years. And Bernie makes the same thing I do, as did a couple of my other top people. If you average the number of overtime hours we work into our salary and even added the benefits to it that we are very grateful for, we are making less than $100 an hour. That's me as a 36-year lawyer. What do you think Melissa Nelson was billing out at when she defended those doctors who defrauded the taxpayers?
The average,
$400 an hour?
that's not unusual for an attorney, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
because I don't know.
Right, but in order to retain lawyers like I am, I'm board certified. I've got lawyers who have tried hundreds of jury trials. That's what you need to go in and put these criminals away. I'm proud of the raises I've given them, and you know who hasn't gotten a raise in years? Bernie Delarianda, who tries as many homicides as anybody in the state of Florida. He hasn't gotten a raise because once he made what I made, which was very early on in my administration, he couldn't get another dime.
Is this race, I mean, we knew it was going to get somewhat ugly, but is it turning faster than you thought it was going to do?
You know, these people are members of the bar, and Miss Nelson sat there last week at the Jack's Bar debate and talked about her oath of office. She owes the voters an explanation about the Flagler County grand jury, because no one that I know of that's ever run for state attorney has a permanent public record of tainting a grand jury to the point where the judge sealed the work she did. That also cost the taxpayers approximately $750,000, what she and Harry Shorstein did in Flagler County. The hypocrisy should stop. What's her platform? The only thing she's ever said is we can do better. But you certainly can't do better when you're mired in a bunch of ethical issues, and especially when it comes to the sacred duty of the grand jury.
And that grand jury, that was the one involving the officer.
It was she and Harry Shorstein. They were supposed to investigate allegations of abuse at the Flagler County Jail.
Right.
Instead, they abused state attorney, Seventh Circuit state attorney witnesses to the point where they came to the judge and said, you've got to stop what she and Harry Shorstein are doing. And the judge did, and he suppressed their work and said it was illegal and tainted. And those are the issues we need to be discussing. And that will all come out at some point, and that's all. You can fact check that
Right.
at the truemelissa.nelson.com. That's
Well,
based on a judge's order.
Right. I did get that email that has it. That's not your PAC, the True Melissa.
There are a few PACs supporting me, and that's one of the PACs supporting me because we intend to get out the truth. This is a lot of glitzy. The commercial you showed me, it's kind of glitzy, and it almost gets to the truth, but it doesn't truly explain everything. Like it doesn't explain that the pension thing was just correcting the deficit pursuant to a state statute. Where one of her biggest supporters, Mike Weinstein, is the one who wrote the authorization letters for all of us.
Which is what, when I looked at that, I said, well, that's true, but the way they paint it.
Sure, and that's part of politics, Jim, and it's a sad part of politics, maybe not for other candidates, but for members of the Florida Bar who have a duty to promote professionalism and civility. So we're going to continue to respond with facts. The Flagler County debacle that she and Harry created is a fact. A neutral and detached magistrate said, you tainted a grand jury process so badly, you are not to be trusted. We are going to quash the work that you did. But what is forever in the public record is how she handled that grand jury.
Do you see yourself doing similar type ads, negative ads like this at all?
No, ours are going to be based on the truth. fact check
Sure.
that website.
Well, I
There's a
mean,
thing on there
like you
that's
said,
not true.
those are true that are on there.
No, they're not
But
true.
they're-
Not the way they phrase it. It's not true.
Right.
You can say she padded her pension with hundreds of thousands of dollars. The actual fact is approximately 158,000 was spread over a 13-year period to correct the deficit in the pension, and it was legal. So how is that, quote, padding would mean you added more to it than you deserved.
Well, and that's
We
what,
corrected the deficit.
that's
So
what I mean, she's added, but what she's saying isn't false, it's the way it's presented, and that's what I was wondering.
that makes it
what-
false. When
okay.
you present it where you add words that aren't factual, then it's false.